Hello YouTube viewers and random Doctor Who fans, I come before you today with another review of a Time Zone playset. How lovely. This time around it is the Dalek Invasion set, which of course is completely made up, as we haven't seen this in an episode of the show at all, which will of course no doubt lead to some fans with slightly lower IQs becoming convinced that this will be appearing in a future episode, just like the trans-temporal sonic screwdriver. Ugh. But I digress. Let's look at the packaging. So we get the silver Doctor Who logo with its insignia beside it at the bottom, with Dalek Invasion Time Zone playset printed beside it. The main image on the front shows off the set very well and includes a Dalek as part of the set, but unfortunately a Dalek figure is not included. However, what is included is one exclusive Dalek hoverboat, which sounds like someone has made an uncorrected typo while trying to spell hoverboat. 3D card diorama playset for the 3.75 inch scale figures, blah blah blah, and so on. The back offers a little backstory to this playset, something about the Daleks invading London in 2075. If you really care, go ahead and pause the video and give it a read yourself. The rest of the back is covered in stuff which we've already seen on the front, and there are a few pictures of the other sets available which you can buy and click together pointlessly. Alright, before my soul is crushed any further, let's move on and take a look at this quote-unquote playset. Alrighty, so here we are, and I have to admit, it is an improvement on the Cold War playset, although I'm not sure why. Perhaps it's because the image at the top is far more dramatic and visually interesting. You can see some Dalek saucers in the sky with smoke billowing into the air, and in the dead centre a destroyed Big Ben has been ordained with some sort of Dalek death ray machine. On the right hand side of this set, a section of a landed saucer can be seen with some nice detailing of panels and lights. Behind it, the rest of the crumbled Westminster can be seen, along with a few other buildings there too. This Trans-Cis entrance is topped with a three-dimensional sign for it, which looks good, and below it you can see a silver metal door, which is open with some tiles on the other side, giving the impression, along with the fact that it's referred to as a matter transmission station, that this is a futuristic replacement of the London Underground, with commuters using teleportation instead of subway trains. Beside it, you can see the card image of the TARDIS, which is again the worn old police box seen in the Angels Take Manhattan, and the Snowmen, which seemingly comes with every Time Zone set. On the other wall, a massive silver ramp descends from the landed saucer, which does look nice, and if you take a look inside it, you can see a large corridor leading off into the bowels of the Dalek spacecraft, which again is a nice little touch. The ramp itself is scuffed and worn, and there's some great lighting detail printed onto the sides. The base is covered with detail of grey paving stones, and you can also see a manhole which has been partially obstructed by the end of the Dalek ramp. So overall for detail, it is very nice, but just like the Cold War Time Zone, my major problem with this set is that it's constructed entirely out of cardboard. If we take a look at the back, you can see I've had to use copious amounts of duct tape in order to hold the entire sorry thing together. Plus something I neglected to mention in my Cold War review, these clear plastic buttons, the sort of thing you'd get on the ends of a duvet cover, don't click together properly, therefore meaning you have to use super glue or blue tack or something to keep them in place. Again, the only plastic on this set is the wire frame on the base and the two clear support columns on either side. That's it, which means that this toy won't be able to stand up to too much punishment during play over long periods of time. As the box so openly boasts, these time zones can be clicked together, so I have the Dalek set here next to the Cold War version. Unfortunately, the little pegs which line the exterior of the set do not line up properly, so one playset will always be jutting out a little more than the other, which for me isn't the best thing to look at when on display. The cardboard TARDIS panel is removable, thank God, because I'm sick of looking at it, and in the large rectangular hole it leaves behind can be placed the spin and fly TARDIS. It's a better idea to just jam it straight into the gap instead of setting it behind it, as it integrates it into the playset much more sufficiently, as the rectangular hole is far too big and the TARDIS looks out of place otherwise. When it comes to accessories, the set gives us a Dalek hoverboat, which looks nice, but is seemingly pointless, as Daleks are capable of flight already. The backstory suggests that the Daleks can fly at high speeds over great distances while using them though, so they're sort of the Dalek equivalent of a jet ski. It is coloured in the standard bronze and gold effect, and contains some nice moulding around it of various panels, sections and vents. The underneath looks really good with this ring of blue domes, which no doubt aid to its hovering and flying abilities somehow. Unfortunately, there are some nasty screw holes and a ton of legal Florbagnovict. The top offers a nice circular pattern, along with a section in which you can slot your 3 3/4 inch scale Dalek figure. Some silver railings on either side lead up to this control panel, which, in keeping with what we've seen before, is covered in these various dome-shaped controls which can be easily used by the Dalek's manipulator arm. Unfortunately, the Dalek isn't very sturdy when placed onto the hoverboard, and I would have liked to have seen some sort of clip to hold the toy in place. But it does look good, and offers this toy a nice little display base for any Doctor Who toy collector's shelf. So, all in all, what do I think of this toy? Well, it's that bog standard case of a great idea, poorly executed. Perhaps the image at the top should have been a 3D lenticular, giving it more depth and looking as though those saucers and that smoke is actually there, floating in the sky. Perhaps the ramp should have been retractable. Perhaps the transist should have had a gap instead of that black section where you could actually send your figures through it. Perhaps it should have contained a Star Trek style transporter room toy effect, where it would look as though the figure had actually disappeared. Perhaps it should have offered some type of cradle for the hoverboard to be pegged onto to convey that it was actually floating in mid-air. I don't know. Honestly, I look at this toy and I see so much room for improvement, let alone the fact that it's constructed from card. Card, of all things! Realistically, this is not a toy. It cannot be played with, and it cannot endure the stress of play. At the end of the day, it's either a terrible accessory to the hoverboard toy, or it's a glorified display base for collectors to set their other 3 3/4 inch figures on. And I will admit that the chunky ramp and extended transist sign offers the collectors so many more levels on which to display their figures than the Cold War version. So of the Time Zone sets that I've reviewed so far, it is the lesser of two evils. Then again, that's the equivalent of being given the choice of being either punched in the face or kicked in the face. And so that does it for this review. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, there are countless more reviews online. Thank you again for watching, and remember to keep following the nerd. Goodbye.